Students will pick up their textbooks for the first time this week. Meanwhile, teachers and school leaders have their own assignments. It's a swath of new laws that ban certain topics from being taught inside the classrooms, limit discussion of LGBTQ issues, and even remove some books from school libraries.
I know I'm getting deep into educational philosophy here.
After local school boards have approved new rules, from the Stop Woke Act banning teaching critical race theory to parental rights in education, what critics call Don't Say Gay, to changing standardized testing, Fox 4 Investigates review of Lee, Collier, and Charlotte County's district policy updates shows universally similar language and policy to what the laws the governor signed. Lee County, for instance, prohibiting discussions based on the assumption a person is inherently racist, sexist, or oppressive, whether consciously or unconsciously. While Charlotte County says classroom instruction about sexual orientation or gender identity in grades K through 3 is prohibited.
As a district, we will follow the law, but yes, this undermines critical thinking.
The views from Lee County board members varied from concerns to those saying what goes on inside the classroom will not change much.
Everything that's listed in here are things that my students have learned.
The Florida Education Association, the state's largest union, says teachers are being vilified under these laws.
That a lot of this legislation is based on false pretenses. The idea that something nefarious is going on in our schools and we can't trust our teachers, that's just not the case.
Something the governor has repeatedly denied, including in this tweet last week. Lee County superintendent tells me the changes could present challenges in the classroom. Are you worried that these kind of new regulations might put an undue burden on what goes on inside the classroom?
I think if we're not careful, it could. Parents and citizens and community members need to understand that what teachers teach in their classroom is standards driven. There's nothing in our standards that would drive those types of conversations. So what our teachers have to do is stick to the standard and teach it the way they always have done it.
Collier County Superintendent, meantime, when asked about the parental rights in education bill, talked about potential discipline.
So we don't go down the punishment path right away. We want to support and ensure that they have those safeguards. But if we do have a concern, we have no problem that we want to ensure that we're following laws.
And speaking of new laws, this school year starts a new standardized testing system. 3 times per year progress monitoring testing replaces the year-end Florida Standards Assessment, which students had been taking for years, while the union calls this a challenge that'll actually make things worse.
Actually, what we're seeing right now is probably more testing than we did before. And it's still unclear as to how we're really going to use this progress monitoring in a way to help kids.
Governor Ron DeSantis calls it a big win for education.
Allowing more time for teaching, more time for learning, less time for testing, and more effective feedback for all involved.
Lee, Charlotte, and Collier counties have all been using progress monitoring for several years. Ryan Kruger, Fox 4 Investigates.